Today we'll see the exception handling into the training order system. Okay, so we have seen the exception handling for the UI demo. Okay, now we will see for the training orders. Okay, so we have seen exception handling right into the UI demo in a different way. Here we have to see in a little bit different way. Why? Because you can see here I'm having this invalid data. Okay, now we'll give this here. Okay, give the option one, click on the go. Right. So suppose if it is processing first record, it will process perfectly, right? But what about the second record, right? So if I'm getting this and click on the submit. Now I click on the submit and got an error. So what we have to do in that case? We have to click on the OK, right? We have to close this window. At the same time, here we have to add invalid data not processing, right? Invalid data not processing. Correct? We have to add it. Similar way it will process for third record, but what about fourth record, right? It will try to enter this blank data, click on the submit. Now we are getting this different error, right? Even though we are getting this error, we have to click on the OK, right? And close this. We have to close this. Right? And here also we have to write invalid data not processed. So our approach will be here. Once we get the error, we are handling it. Okay. Once we get the error or once we got the error, we will handle it. Correct? So you can see till submit order, the flow will be as it is. Right? Till submit order, our flow will be as it is. After that, what we will do, we'll verify. Are we getting this error? Right? If we are getting this error, it means it's a business exception. So what we will do, we'll throw the business exception. Okay? What we will do, we will throw the business exception. Right? And once we throw the business exception, we'll handle it. Okay? Close this, write it to the Excel, right? We'll handle it. Suppose we are not getting this error. Okay? If suppose we are not getting this error, what we will do? We'll verify. Are we getting this error? Okay? We'll verify. Are we getting this error? Right? If we are getting this error, it means this is a business exception and we'll do the exception handling. Correct? And suppose if you are not getting the previous error, okay, that complete all the fields blank, right? Or we are not getting this error, it means our flow is positive. Okay. So what we will do, we'll perform the positive flow state, right? So let's go and see where we will do. Obviously, we'll do into the process transaction. Okay. So you can see the flow which we have created till submit order will be as it is. Okay. After that, what we will do, right? We'll check that particular error is available or not. So we are using element exist, right? So we have seen this element exist during xc.com, right? We have checked that convert button was available or not. So element, right? And here we'll store into this variable. This variable type will be boolean, okay? Means it will give either true or false, right? And we already discussed this point, but again I want to tell you, make sure this timeout, right? This timeout we have to adjust as per application. Otherwise, it will wait for 30 seconds unnecessary. So I have given like 1500 millisecond. It means 1.5 seconds. Okay. So it will not wait unnecessary 30 seconds if there is no error. After that, we will use if condition. Why we will use if condition? Because we are getting the result in true or false, right? So I'm using this if condition. Okay. So if this error is there, okay, it means it's a business exception. So you can see I have added a throw here, okay, and we have to give this expression, new business rule exception invalid, okay. If this error is not there, right, we will verify the second error, this one, right, and here also we'll give the same variable. I want to reuse it, right, and here we'll reduce the time, we'll give the timeout based on our judgment, okay. So if this error is there, it means it's a business exception, right? Again, we'll throw the business exception. So we'll use if inside a if, it's called as a nested if, right? So it will throw the business exception. But if you don't have this error or this error, it means it's a positive. So whatever the steps we have after the submit order, right? We will add into this else. Okay, whatever the steps we have. Okay. Then the next question from you people, right? Why we are not adding that exception handling steps, right? We are throwing the exception, okay, but we are not added those steps, right? What are those steps? Like click on the OK button, close the window, write into the Excel, right? So you can see I did not added those steps here. Why? Because here we are getting more than one business exception, okay. It might happen we can have more than that, correct. So every time we have to add those steps here, right? So rather than doing it, what we can do, we can create a reusable component, and wherever there is a possibility of error, we can call that, right? The similar way which we did for a reporting, correct? So we'll see how to do it, but before that, just create this particular flow, okay? And let or before that, any query, any question, please ask. Okay, so please complete and do not run. Okay, do not run.
तो error आ रहा है, so I'm just looking into it. It not comes for the first run, then I tried again after fixing for the third record. It
Mhm.
came, some other error is coming, so just kind of fixing it.
Okay, तो शेयर करना है आपको या यू आर चेकिंग?
I will check in case if it gets stuck.
ओके,
Maybe later we can check.
ठीक है. What about Gautam, Pratiksha, Rajat?
So have some issue is coming, but I will check myself, and
Oh,
if I have questions, I will. मेरे एक्सेल फाइल के साथ कोई प्रॉब्लम आ रहा है मेरे प्रॉब्लम.
okay, fine. So now maybe we can consider the S6 work, right? But here, right, the question I think Prince was asked, right? So what is happening here, right? Suppose we have created a, right? We have run the, right? Then it will upload the QA, right? Then we are getting error, our flow will get stopped, we'll rectify it, we'll run again. Again it will upload, right? So see, this will happen because you did not tested the flow perfectly, right? So we will face all the challenge. Okay. So that is a valid thing. Okay. But when we'll work or when we'll deploy the production, we'll deploy the full-fledged version. So there won't be these problems occur, right? And even though suppose you are processing 100 transactions, okay? You are processing 100 transactions, and in between, right, maybe you have completed 60 transactions, right? 60 transactions, and we can consider your application is not up and running, right? It having some issue or there is a server issue. The 16s are completed, okay, and 40 are left, right? 40 are pending, right? So suppose this bot is running your daily basis, Okay, this bot is running 9 a.m. Okay, it can be any time zone. So today, what happened? It should complete these 100 transactions, okay, before going to tomorrow, for example, right? Because it has a SLA, like it should be completed within 24 hours. It should completed within a 12 hours, for example, whatever, right? So what happens? Whatever the problem, maybe server problem or application problem or maybe system problem, right? So there is a support team, okay, or run team called as a bot monitoring team also, right? So they will go and they will rectify this issue, right? Suppose there is a server issue, that they will see what is the problem, why it is happening, right? They will notify to the respective team immediately and they can fix it, okay? Suppose is there any system issue, that system got crashed, we can consider system got crashed, right? So what they will do, they already have backup system, but that backup system is not up and running because it's a backup, right? So they will go to the backup system, right? In case of system issue, they will complete these 40 pending transactions on that bot, okay? So that before the next day, okay, before the next day, what should happen? All the transactions should get processed perfect, okay, because it has the SLA, right? That should meet, right? So that's the reason the run team or support team will be available 24 by 7, 365 days, right? So what will happen? It will get processed on that particular day, so that during the next day, okay, when the during the next day when the new 100 transactions are getting added or 200 is getting added, it will be a fresh transaction and it will or it should get processed within the next 24 hours or 12 hours, okay? So that kind of precautions, or we can say remediation, being done by this run team or transaction, okay? This is first. Second thing, what happens? So here we are just talking about 100 transactions, okay? But just imagine if you have like maybe 10K or 100K of transactions, right? 100K or 1000K of transactions you are having, right? So what happens? The bot is taking, or the bot might take a little longer time, right, to process those particular transactions, right, or to upload it. Basically, first we'll talk about upload, right, to upload it to the queue, right? So suppose 100K transactions are taking 1 hour or 2 hour of time to upload, then what will happen? Unless and until all these 100K transactions are not getting uploaded into the queue, right, the further process will not start, correct? Because it is doing the task and the further process will start after loading those transactions consent. Okay. So now in that case, we can say like our 1 or 2 hours got wasted. Okay. Then you will say how it is wasted, right? It was uploading data into the queue, right? So why I'm saying this? Because uh, for the process start, right? For the processing, even though it have one transaction, two transaction, three transaction, we can start it, right? It's not necessary like 100K transactions should be loaded and then we can start, right? Because processing also will take some time, right? So in that case, what we can do, we can run, or we can say this loading the data into the queue. It is called as a loader, okay, loader, right? And the processing, it is called as a performer, okay? So why can't we make separate this loader and performer? Okay. Why can't we make this loader and performer separately? What loader will do? Okay. Suppose as we're talking about our process is starting at 9 a.m. right? So our loader bot, okay, loader bot can start 9 a.m. right? And performer bot can start at 9:05 a.m. right? So what loader bot will do within this 5 minutes, it will upload maybe 10 transaction or 50 transaction or 100 whatever, right? And if you start this bot at 9:05 a.m., So it will have sufficient amount of transaction to perform, right? So this bot will start at the same time the loader bot is also uploading data, right? So both the portions or both the bots are running parallelly, right? So whatever the time here we are wasting 1 hour or 2 hour just to upload the data, right? That we can handle by loading both the portion, right? Parallel, right? And by using the one bot, okay? By using, sorry, by using the one license, okay? By using the one license, we can run one attended bot and one attended attended bot at a time. At a time. Okay, will not able to run two unattended bot at a time and will not able to. Sorry, I meant to say background, background and foreground, foreground. Okay, so at a time we can run only one background process at a time and one foreground process at a time by using one line. So what do you mean by background? So suppose you are doing something related to the database, right? So it has any UI? No, right? It don't have any UI. So it's called as a background. If you are doing API, we haven't seen, we'll see it, right? So it's a background. We don't have any UI interface. Similar way, when we are uploading data into the queue, right? This is happening in background, right? It is not doing anything on the foreground. But the performer, okay? This performer is a foreground, right? It might happen performer can be also background, right? But I'm just telling you, in our case, it's a like foreground, okay? Where it is interacting with the UI. Correct. So if you make those things separated, anyhow we are going to use only one license, right? For this, and by using this one license, we can run one loader bot and one performer bot at a time, or one background process and one foreground process at a time. So we can save this 2 hours of time or 1 hour time. Okay, suppose it is starting at 9 a.m. right, and I'm just giving hypothetical example, right? So it will get finished by 2 p.m. Okay, if you follow our this approach, whatever we have followed, right? But just imagine if you follow this approach, what will happen? 2 hours will get saved. So instead of 12, it will be finished by, sorry, instead of 2, it will finish by 12, right? So we can save the 2 hours. So suppose if we are having three processes, we are or four processes, we are running on the same machine, right? And if you save 2 hours of time or 3 hours of time by every bot, then we can use that machine for another bot as well, or that license for another bot as well. So instead of three or four, we can run four or five. So we can use the that license to its maximum extent by using this approach. Okay, so it is called as a, so we can make it loader separate, performer separate. Okay, and then you will ask how to create a background process, right? So if you go here, right, here we are having background process. Okay, so if you want to create any bot, right, which is in background basically, okay, so we have to go here and we have to create the process. So suppose this is the name, right? Just click on the create. So this is also very similar to the process only, but only thing, you will not able to see any UI related activity into this particular background process. So you can see only background processes related activities, for example, API activities, database activities, or read the data from the Excel or send the data to the queue, right? So here we'll able to see only background activities, not the foreground activities. Okay. So in case your volume is large or even right, normally it will large only, right? So we can make loader bot separately and we can make the performer bot separate. Okay. So we can utilize the license to the maximum extent. Clear now? Maybe Prince everyone. Clear, right?
Yeah,
To
well, one
me,
more
Gagan.
question. let's say, and is a performer. Let's say for some reason, means I want the process to be designed in such a way that whatever is first when we have 100 transaction, out of those 60 got processed and 40 not able to process. Next time when I run, it will have fresh transaction, but it need to work only on those transactions, not on the one which are there as a part of the previous run. So maybe
So it doesn't happen, na Prince, right? So here we have 100 transactions. So as per
yeah.
the business function, it should process it, right? How you can left it, right?
So
How you can left those 40 transactions, right? Suppose if there is a bank, right, and they have like maybe uh, transactions, right? So it might be any transfers, right, or any deposits, whatever, right? So how can we just completed 60 and how can we left 40, right? So
okay,
that should not be the case.
okay, let's take it as a way. The output file which we are creating, right? Means in the example that we have seen so far,
Mm-hmm,
so we always have an input that has the list of transactions coming, correct?
mm-hmm.
Out of those, and there is an output file that is getting created out of that. I'm assuming the way we are doing it, that there is an input file coming. So we are saving that file in input folder, and almost the same file is getting saved at the output folder as well, so that we can go and update the status. In the first run, you are able to process, let's say, 6 out of 10. The status get updated, that's fine. Next time, when the new file will come and let the processor stop. Next time, when the process will start, it has the fresh file, which is the 20 transactions. Okay. Now, because in a queue, you already have the 4 transactions which are in not process status. So the
So
total transaction,
what I
yeah,
said, Prince, before running to the next day transactions, it should finish this pending 40 transactions. So there is no question during the next day, right? We'll have these 40 transactions into the queue,
okay.
right?
Okay.
Got it, right? So what if this it is stopped at after 60 transaction, right? What I said, because of any reason, right? Because of your system got down, right? For a moment, or your like application got crashed, right? Or maybe there is a issue with your VM also, right? Because normally it will get loaded on a VM, right? And VM got crashed. So they will have backup VMs, backup systems where that run team or support team, they will run that process right on that particular backup VM and they will process this 40 pending transaction. Okay. Suppose some people will say like just imagine like we have very less amount of time for the processing, right? And it might happen. This is 9 a.m., right? At 7 a.m., our issue got rectified and all the things, right? So what they will do, they will deploy it on a multiple bots. Okay. Suppose this is taking 3 hours of time and we have only 2 hours of time, right? So they already have the backup VM, right? They will run maybe two VMs rather than one VM, or they will run two bots rather than one bot. So they have to process within this stipulated amount of time. Okay.
Means the basic assumption over here is like we will process everything on the same day. My point is, let's say for whatever reason, if the positioning does not complete on the same day and the transaction move forward for the next day, in that case, I don't want everything to
It
come in.
it it won't happen. Okay, it won't happen because see, everything has the SLA. Okay, so it won't happen. So the if worst case, what they will do, right? Suppose we are not able to process it, right? So
Yeah.
they what they will do, this is 9 p.m. is triggering, right? So they will disable this trigger. Okay, so instead of 9 a.m., they will go for a 10 a.m. or 11.
Okay.
Okay, they will go for a 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. But we'll make sure before running this bot, right? It should process all the perfect.
Okay. Or otherwise, we have to move these transitions from the queue. Like need to change the status so that it will not work on those transactions?
See, what you are saying, we have to change the status. Okay. Suppose you are perfect. Okay. There is, I am not differing with your opinion, right? Suppose you are saying this 40 transaction, right? You are saying change the status, right? But even though we are changing, for example, we are changing the status, right?
Yeah.
But it should, suppose if it is not going to handle by the bot, okay, it should be get handled someone by manual.
Yes.
Okay, so it should not happen like we have changed the status means we are ignoring this 40 transaction, right? I'm just talking
Yeah.
in both the ways. Okay.
Yes.
So it should be handled in a manual way so that it should get completed either by the bot or either by the business user, but
Yep.
it should get completed,
Yes.
right?
And that's been my point, because sometimes the process are so stringent in terms of SLA that if the bot fail, there is no option of doing a retry, because let's say it's a compliance activity. Okay. So at that time, the usual guidance to the business, if the bot fail, you might have to flip back to the manual processing. At that time, user will go and start processing it manually. But if these transactions remain in the queue for whatever reason, the next time whenever the bot will come, like you are right in that sense, it will start processing, which I don't want. So my process is simple. If you are able to process, good. If not, then just keep the status in some other state, like in the status, so that next time when the bot come, it will not process. Now, depending on the process, this behavior might need to change. That you can try for one time, two time, and after that, don't do it, or till let's say 5 p.m. that process has to happen, and after that performer activity does not has to happen.
No, no. See, what you are saying that is little different. Okay.
Yeah.
So suppose we are having 100 transactions. Okay, 60 completed, 40 are, or maybe we can say will suppose 100 transactions. Okay. So why I'm explaining, because this is very important concept.
Yes.
Huh? So we have uh, completed 100. Okay, and sorry, we have 100 transaction. We have completed 100. Okay, but it might happen out of 100. Okay, 60 can be passed and 40 can be failed. Okay,
Yes.
right? Maybe any reason. Okay, like business exception or any application exception, any exception,
Yeah.
right? So what we are doing in that case, we are notifying to the business. Okay, these are the 100 transactions. Okay, out of this 100, 60 are passed, 40 are failed.
Yes.
Okay, and we'll give the reason, whatever the reason, right?
Yes.
Suppose here we are writing, right, invalid data not processing, or we'll give the error logs or something. So what those people will do, they will go and they will manually verify those 40 transactions. Why? Because they have to make sure.
Yeah.
So they have to make sure like this is the valid or invalid thing. Okay, so they will not rely 100% on the bot, for example, right? Because we retried one time, two time, or for business exception, we are not retrying, right? So they will go, they will make sure like why we are getting this invalid data here. For example, it might be the issue with the process before that this file got created. They followed, right? It might be wrong, right? So they will rectify all the things. So whenever the bot is running, right, or whenever the transaction getting failed, right, we have to notify to the business users also, like we got this input and because of this input, right, we retried or something, but still we are getting error. So you can verify it manually. Okay, so it is not the case. Even the bot is stuck in this place. We have to do it. Even though the bot has successfully completed all the transactions, right? And in between that, if we have something failure, business has to review manually. Okay,
Okay.
clear, right?
Yeah, at this point is I'm clear, like in terms of pass and fail, because as long as the status is either of these category, it's mean the bot has a function on it or worked on it. Means I'm talking about the instance where it's like the transaction has not been touched upon by the bot altogether, which is like precisely the one
No,
which
it
you.
won't happen. Okay, so I have given the example, right? This scenario will not happen, or it will happen like once in a year, or maybe like more than that, right? So why it will not happen? Because as I said, When this scenario can occur, it might happen. I have given the example. Your application is not up and running. This is first, right? Second thing, I said there is a issue with your system. Okay, means on the VM where it is running, right? Or it might be the case like server is down or your organization network is down, right? Like suppose we have the recent incident for the Microsoft, right? So in that case, no one can do anything. Okay. So even though we are saying to the business like 60 are completed and 40 are pending, please go ahead and process it, right? How they will process, right? So they also have to wait till the systems or applications or whatever is the network, right, getting up and running, right? So once it's getting up and running, then only the bot will be able to, or the humans will be able to process, right? So this scenario, right, whatever you are talking, that is like very rare possibility can come this scenario basically.
No, Vaibhav, yeah, I got your point. Maybe we can have the offline discussion. That's also fine. My
Uh,
point is, like once this is done, for whatever reason it failed, I don't want but bot to come and touch those 40 transactions.
it won't touch na. So suppose what I said, if the system are up and running, right?
हाँ
What will process this, right?
हाँ मुझे नहीं चाहिए वो ये ऐसा हो वही मैं बोला मतलब नॉट नेसेसरली दैट हैज टू बी द वे वेयर आई डोंट वांट
नहीं
बट
नहीं नहीं
बॉट
फिर ऐसे नहीं होता है ना प्रिंस देन what is the point of doing the automation, right? Because if any process, right, business has given to right for the RPA team or IPA team, whatever, right, intelligent process automation team or RPA team. So their expectation ki everything it will take care, and sometimes there might be the hiccup, and then we have to do it manually, right? So initially we can consider the five people are working in that particular process, okay, or that particular department. Now they will not have the five people dedicated, right? They will have one or two people, right? So they will take care of those failure transactions or
मैं
their
I
part-time.
agreed but मैं वो सिनेरियो बता रहा हूँ which I am facing currently in one of the process what is happening
Mhm.
that the bot ID because of the way the bot has been set up they are not able to log into the application but the users are not facing that problem
नहीं फिर
like if
ऐसे
you
ऐसे
and
ऐसे नहीं होता है ना, ऐसे कैसे होगा, राइट?
वही तो issue है which application is not able to understand they are working on this but meanwhile because मेरे वो 40 ट्रांजेक्शन पड़े हुए क्यू में यदि मेरा सिस्टम वापस आ गया बॉट वापस आ गया और बॉट को मैंने ट्रिगर किया तो आपके हिसाब से वो 40 प्रोसेस करेगा विच आई डोंट वांट
क्यों नहीं चाहिए, मतलब व्हाई यू डोंट वांट?
क्योंकि मैंने तो मैनुअल प्रोसेस कर दिया सर
नहीं नहीं
मैं
नहीं
नहीं
नहीं,
वेट कर
तो
सकता
फिर करना नहीं है ना वैसे, राइट?
मैं वेट नहीं कर सकता सर बॉट नहीं चला इट डज नॉट मीन आई विल नॉट कंप्लाई मतलब यू थिंक फ्रॉम एन ऑपरेशन पर्सपेक्टिव
नहीं
I
नहीं सी,
understand from a technology
हाँ
perspective
हाँ
that
हाँ,
is how the bot is supposed to work. But there are like processes where people need to like if the nav has to go out, I can't tell to regulator that okay because my bot is down I can't release the nav.
हाँ, तो आई गॉट योर पॉइंट, तो वी कैन कंसिडर कि वी आर हैविंग सम टेक्निकल इशू फॉर
Yeah,
एग्जांपल, राइट? और हो सकता है कि फिर 10 दिन बॉट नहीं चलेगा,
बिल्कुल
राइट? तो
बिल्कुल
फॉर एग्जांपल इन दैट केस वी हैव टू डू इट, ओके? इन
हाँ
दैट केस they will handle it manually, for example. So we'll have कि भाई we need a 10 days, 15 days or 1 month of time, right? Till that time you process it manually. जब bot up and running होगा after maybe few days or month, then we'll start it. तब ये scenario आएगा. That is what I'm saying.
अच्छा
Clear now?
ठीक है बट वी कांट मैनेज इट मतलब
हाँ हाँ,
सिस्टमेटिकली हम मैनेज नहीं कर सकते
नहीं नहीं नहीं, सी, अब इस केस में क्या प्रॉब्लम है कि योर एप्लीकेशन आर अप एंड रनिंग, बराबर, बट यू आर
हम्म
सेइंग कि बॉट का कोई टेक्निकल इशू है, नहीं इशू, ओके? डोंट थिंक कि एप्लीकेशन में लॉग इन नहीं कर रहा है, राइट? इट
कुछ
में
भी
बी
हो
एनी
सकता
इशू,
है
लाइक लाइसेंस इशू है, राइट? और हो सकता है कि it is working normally, but it is not working on a bot machine, right? And it required a good amount of time, right? Chota mota issue, so it can be solved within a few hours, right? But if there is a major issue, right, and it has to be, हो सकता है कि UiPath के साथ कोई problem हो गया है, and then we have to log a ticket, and their support team फिर contact करेगा. We don't know the SLA कि when it will be up and running, right? So in that case, हाँ, we will inform to the business कि this 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, whatever we have, the bot will not run, process this transaction manually. और ये जो पेंडिंग है 40 वाले, वो भी आप प्रोसेस कर।
बिल्कुल। और दूसरा सिनेरियो जैसे आप देखोगे, मतलब आई एम नॉट श्योर वेदर यू गाइस हैव कम अक्रॉस दैट सिनेरियो इन प्रोडक्शन और नॉट, बट लेट्स से मेरा प्रोसेस ऐसा है कि भाई तुम्हारे पास ये ट्रांजैक्शन है, लिस्ट आता है, वॉट एवर यू कैन प्रोसेस इट, एंड वॉट एवर इज लेफ्ट आउट send it back to operation. Then next day, whenever the new file come, so that is all what we have to work upon.
नहीं तो फिर ऐसे कैसे ना, सपोज लाइक 100 ट्रांजेक्शन है, राइट? So they are saying whatever you can process, और rest of the thing will take care. But ऐसे कैसे होगा, राइट? So it
सर
might happen।
अज्यूम करो कि ऐसा है तो वो हैंडल कर सकते नहीं कर सकते, मतलब दैट्स माय क्वेश्चन, इफ
नहीं
दिस
तो
कैन बी।
मान लो कि 100 है, दे आर सेइंग कि जितना करना है उतना करो, राइट? सो
हाँ
व्हाई, क्या रीजन है कि बाकी नहीं प्रोसेस कर सकते? व्हाट इज द रीजन?
सर, भी सिंपल है, आपका बॉट का है, मतलब देर इज अ थ्रूपुट, करेक्ट, बिकॉज ऑफ द करेंट थ्रूपुट यू कैन मैनेज ओनली 100 ट्रांजेक्शन। आई
हाँ
एम
तो
नॉट,
डिप्लॉय डिप्लॉय अनदर बॉट ना, डिप्लॉय अनदर
वो
बॉट।
वो मैं करूंगा, बट वो इज इट लाइक ऑन द फ्लाई डिप्लॉय हो जाता है?
यस।
मतलब मशीन भी आपको लोकेट हो जाएगा, बट मशीन होना चाहिए ना आपके पास, यदि आपके
हाँ
पास
तो
वीएसआई
सी
नहीं हुआ
मतलब
तो।
ऑल दीज हैव टू थिंक, राइट? कि अगर कभी बिजनेस, या वी आर हैविंग बैकअप सिस्टम आल्सो, राइट? तो बैकअप सिस्टम पे भी चला सकते हैं, राइट? और व्हेन योर बॉट इज गोइंग टू डिजाइन, राइट, जब आपका बॉट का डिजाइन होता है, तो वी हैव टू थिंक अबाउट ऑल दीज एस्पेक्ट्स कि
नहीं नहीं, मैंने वो, आई एग्री, जो आप एक सिनारियो को एक वॉल्यूम तक आप मैनेज कर सकते हो। अब यू कैन थिंक कि भाई डबल लगा दो, ऐसा तो नहीं कि आप मतलब 5 टाइम्स अबाउट करो, अज्यूम, मतलब जो सपोज करो कल के दिन इंडियन गवर्नमेंट गिर जाएगा, यू नो हाउ मच ऑफ ट्रांजेक्शंस आर गोइंग टू कम इनटू द मार्केट, करेक्ट? नाउ वॉट एवर सिस्टम दैट दीज बॉट यू माइट हैव डिजाइन फॉर, लेट्स से प्रोसेसिंग 100 ट्रांजेक्शन, डबल साइड कैपेसिटी लेके आपने एडिशनल कैपेसिटी रखा था कि 200 ट्रांजेक्शन, all of sudden that because of a spike the 250 transaction has come, what to because of the throughput it will be able to process only 200 transaction, मेरा 50 ट्रांजेक्शन बचा हुआ है, अभी मेरे को वो नोटिफाई करना है, तो वो मेरे को समहाउ बिजनेस को मैनुअली मैनेज करना पड़ेगा।
यू आर
मैं आई एम ऑल्सो टॉकिंग हाइपोथेटिकल सिनेरियो, बट आई एम जस्ट ट्राइंग टू गेज
नहीं
वेदर
नहीं नहीं,
इट्स।
but this is very rare case scenario, and when we are working with such large scale automation, right, we should have all these backup things should be with us, right? So VM, how much time takes to create a VM, बताइए आप।
सब वीएम को है, बट प्रोविजन करने में, मतलब मेरा यहाँ का जो प्रोसेस है वहां पे उसको वीएसआई को लाने में उसको 3 दिन लग जाते हैं, तो ऑन
हाँ
द फ्लाई कैसे
तो
मिलेगा
दैट्स
मुझे, दैट इज
फाइन।
द प्रॉब्लम।
फिर अगर नहीं है तो वी कैन सिंपली से कि भाई चलो फिर आप कर लो, रेस्ट वाला जितना बॉट करेगा उतना करेगा, बिकॉज सी,
हाँ
so दिस इज लाइक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, क्योंकि आपका लिमिटेशन है, राइट?
हाँ, आई एम, दैट्स व्हाई आई एम सेइंग, आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि यूआई पाथ का लिमिटेशन है, इट्स मोर ऑफ ऑलवेज यू विल बी फेसिंग दिस काइंड ऑफ लिमिटेशन फ्रॉम एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन पर्सपेक्टिव।
तो फिर तो वैसे करना ही पड़ेगा, राइट? सो ऐसे नहीं होता है एवरी टाइम कि चलो भाई बुक में लिखा है मतलब 1+1 = 2, राइट? तो
यस
टेक्नोलॉजी में ऐसे नहीं होता है, राइट? सो एवरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में देयर आर चैलेंजेस, कोई इश्यूज
यस
है, प्रॉब्लम्स है, राइट? इफ दे आर नॉट एबल टू डू इट, देन इट्स their system problem, okay? System is or their process problem, we can say, right? तो
यस।
वो तो फिर अपने हिसाब से मोल्ड करना ही होता है, there is no other way, okay?
हाँ
But as per the guidelines, as per the best practices what you are following, ये मैं बता रहा हूँ, राइट? बट अगर अपना ही खुद का कोई चैलेंज है, राइट, तो उसमें तो फिर अकॉर्डिंगली वी हैव टू मोल्ड इट, उसमें कुछ नहीं कर सकते फिर।
बिल्कुल। हाँ,
हाँ
मैं वही बोला कि मेरे को जो चैलेंज, मतलब जो दिख रहा है ना, वो
हाँ
उसमें
हाँ।
यही है कि अभी ये जो पेंडिंग रह गया ना, बिकॉज लेट्स से 5 PM तक तो अपन ने करा, प्रोसेस किया, अभी बिजनेस ने बोला कि भाई 5 बजे के बाद तुम्हारा जो है तुम मेरे को बता दो, यू नोटिफाई मी कि इतना पेंडिंग रह गया है एंड यू स्टॉप योर वर्किंग, बिकॉज then I will take it to appropriate senior authorities that okay, this much only we have processed, this is pending, and then you will take a call कि आपको ad hoc processing करनी है, या मतलब बोलते हैं ना हाउ वी विल मैनेज इट।
नहीं
अभी
ठीक है
जब,
ठीक है, फिर ये तो आपका मतलब ये तो सी सिनारियो टू सिनारियो, राइट?
हाँ,
इट
मैं
विल
बोला
इट
वो
विल
उस चीज को अपन कैसे बॉट में मैनेज करते हैं, दैट्स व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड कि
नहीं
भाई।
नहीं, फिर उस चीज में क्या होगा, राइट? कि
हाँ
आ, आपका जो भी ये है, फॉर एग्जांपल 40 ट्रांजैक्शंस पेंडिंग है,
यस
राइट? तो रिपोर्ट टू जाएगा एट द एंड ऑफ द डे,
यस,
रिपोर्ट टू जाएगा, राइट? तो
बिल्कुल।
रिपोर्ट में क्या रहेगा कि 60 कंप्लीट हुआ है, 40 पेंडिंग है, आप लोग इसको हैंडल करो। अलॉन्ग विद दैट 60 में से भी कुछ फेलियर हो सकता है, तो वी
और
कैन
पास
हैव
हो
टू
सकता है।
चेक इट। एंड
यस।
देन जो भी आपका न्यू ट्रांजैक्शन है, ऑब्वियसली वी हैव टू डिफर इट, वो तो करना ही पड़ेगा।
तो ये 40 का स्टेटस बस फिर अपन अपडेट कर देंगे
यस
उसमें।
यस यस, तो करना ही पड़ेगा, अदरवाइज इट विल बी न्यू स्टेटस, राइट? फिर जब न्यू रहेगा तो फिर क्या होगा,
वो नेक्स्ट
जब
टाइम
भी आपका
प्रोसेस
बॉट
करेगा।
चलेगा, महीने बाद, 2 महीने बाद, या 2 दिन बाद, राइट? तो व्हाट विल हैपन, इट विल ट्राई टू टेक दोस ट्रांजैक्शन, ऑब्वियसली इसका स्टेटस तो हमें चेंज करना ही होगा फिर।
बिल्कुल। और इसलिए इफ यू रिकॉल इनिशियली मैंने पहले पूछा था कि हम कस्टमाइज स्टेटस बना सकते हैं क्या, मतलब जो इधर दिखते हैं दोज आर लाइक आई
नहीं
बिलीव
नहीं नहीं नहीं
डिफाइंड,
नहीं नहीं, वी
वो नहीं
विल
कर
नॉट
सकते
एबल
ना।
टू, नहीं नहीं नहीं, वो नहीं कर सकते, तो इसको हम स्टेटस चेंज कर देंगे, राइट? दैट्स इट।
बिल्कुल। बिकॉज अदरवाइज मतलब वी कैन पुट एन इफ कंडीशन लाइक जब इनिशियलाइज अपना ट्रांजेक्शन हो रहा है कि इफ द सिस्टम का टाइम 5 PM है, लेट्स से वी डिफाइन कि भाई इतने बजे से होगा, यदि उतने बजे है तो इट विल गो टू द अनदर फ्लो रादर लाइक फॉलोइंग अ स्टैंडर्ड ट्रांजेक्शन फ्लो, कि वहां से लेट्स से 4:50 PM के बाद वो रन हो रहा है, इंस्टेड ऑफ प्रोसेसिंग अ ट्रांजेक्शन इट विल रन द अदर ट्रांजेक्शन जो है स्टेटस अपडेट कर देता है, बट वो शायद यहाँ होगा नहीं।
नहीं नहीं नहीं, फिर आपको क्या करना होगा कि यू हैव टू क्रिएट ए सेपरेट, एक छोटा सा बॉट बनाना होगा आपको, राइट?
बिल्कुल
कि एक कोई सिनेरियो होता है, तो फिर जो आपका सपोर्ट टीम है, रन टीम है, या बॉट मॉनिटरिंग, दे विल रन दैट सिनेरियो व्हेनेवर
यस।
दिस सिचुएशन ऑकर, वो स्टेटस चेंज कर देगा अपने आप। एंड जब आपका जो परफॉर्मर वाला जो स्टेटस है, तो एनी हाउ बिजनेस को तो मिलने ही वाला है, एंड दे विल प्रोसेस इट मैन्युअली, राइट? तो इसके लिए फिर हमें ये प्रोविजन करना है,
ठीक है सर।
ठीक है? बट इसमें भी अगर आपको ये लाइक सिचुएशन यू आर फेसिंग फ्रिक्वेंटली, तो वी हैव टू थिंक, राइट, और ब्रेनस्टॉर्म कि भाई हाउ टू हैंडल इट, ठीक है? इफ वी आर फेसिंग वेरी फ्रिक्वेंटली, अगर
हाँ
वंस इन
मतलब देन तो वही है कि मतलब वॉल्यूम के कारण आ रहा है तो इट मींस यू बिकॉज ऑफ द थ्रूपुट है तो यू हैव टू डिप्लॉय मोर बॉट, सो वी हैव टू टेक दैट कॉल कि भैया इतना वॉल्यूम नहीं हो रहा है, यू डिप्लॉय मोर बॉट। बट
राइट राइट,
यस।
ठीक है, क्लियर? आई एम नॉट श्योर अबाउट अदर्स, सॉरी, बट डू यू हैव any question on this?
It is a good discussion, Vaibhav. It is clear. What I simply understand, for example, we also work on the application. Sometimes, for some reason, application doesn't work. There are automated processes, so we have to deal it with manually. So, bot is also simply a application that we are building on top of another application. And for any reason, if it is not working, and from operation perspective, we have to find a workaround, so we will do it accordingly.
Correct, see,
And as you mentioned, then we can update the status of the pending records, whatever, running a
correct
separate
correct
work.
correct,
So
and see,
that makes sense. Yes.
if we are facing any hurdles, right? So obviously, see, this is a bot, right? These are not humans, right? So we have to streamline something. So normally, what happens? Our processes are not streamlined, right? Or it having a lot of dependencies on maybe up on approval things, for example, or any other system, right? So if those things are there, we have to try to resolve those things. Okay, otherwise then see, automation तो होता रहेगा, doesn't matter, but if you do it efficiently, effectively, right, then it will give a very good ROI, right? So that is what I mean to say. But yes, obviously, everywhere, like all the things will not run in a smoother way, right? Some hiccups will be there, but that's fine. So instead of achieving 100% automation, right? If you are able to achieve 80%, 70%, right? So that is a good rate from the organization point, right? And once your organization is getting mature, right? All the things will get resolved down the line. Okay. But good, I think Prince got this point. So good. Thanks, Prince. Okay.
Thanks
Now,
for explaining.
yeah. Now we'll go to the next thing. So have you created that Yahoo Finance? Yahoo Finance वाला फ्लो बनाया आप लोगों ने?
No way.
नो, ओके, ठीक है, तो एटलीस्ट आज बनाइए, टुमारो विल सी, नो वरीज, राइट? नाउ वी विल सी हाउ टू यूज एक्सेल एज अ डेटाबेस. Okay, how to use the excel as a database. Then maybe you people will say like we are having database, right? Database तो हम लोगों ने देख लिया है, right? We have seen uh, excel also, right? So I'm not sure have you people aware about like excel as a database or not, right? So normally what happens, if we are getting a huge amount of data, okay, into the excel, अभी तो क्या है कि like we are having in kbs, right? But जैसे कि आपका excel है, right, 8 MBs or 10 MB or maybe more than that, right? So what will happen, right? आप देखिए, मतलब if you have you are using excel, right? If you have a huge data, then it will take time to open, it is taking time to respond, sometimes it can be crashed, right? So what happens during automation also, like you are data or whatever the excel you are processing, right? It having huge number of data and currently you don't have alternative for that, right? So what happens, excel is taking like UiPath is taking more time to read it because there is no issue with the UiPath, right? It is because due to the huge amount of data, right? So to read that excel, it can take the time in minutes also, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or 15 minutes basically. Okay. So in that case, what we can do, we can use excel as a database. Okay. And there are their own benefits as well apart from this performance, because performance is one of the parameter. Okay. But apart from that, suppose if there is a excel and you want only like top 5 records, you want to apply any condition, right? The where condition, like I need a record where state is equal to Maharashtra or state is equal to Gujarat, anything basically, right? If anything, we want to apply a filter condition the similar way what we are doing into the database, right? जैसे database में हम लोग कोई भी filter लगा सकते हैं, कोई भी conditions दे सकते हैं, right? So if you want to manage in that way, it will be very easy, right? Because query are more reliable, more easy to understand, and at the same time, uh, the performance issue भी solve हो जाएगा, right? So to tackle all these situations, what we can do, we can use Excel as a data. Okay, so how can we use it, right? That we will talk now. So I will give this connections. Last time what we did कि हम लोगों ने जो database वाला use किया था ना, right? We have created a connection string, right? But in case of we want to use Excel as a database, ये connection string we have to use it. This is a standard across. Okay, in that connection string, ये जो Excel path लिखा हुआ है, this is a variable. Okay, this is the variable. Apart from that, rest of the things we have to keep as it is. So what is this Excel path? ये variable है जहाँ पे हम लोग file का path दे सकते हैं. Okay, we can give directly as well, but why, right? That will be good if you are giving from variable. So you can see I am giving it from the variable. Okay, see this is the variable. Okay, और उसका value, right? Now we have to give that connection string here. जैसे हम लोग कोई connection string देंगे, go to the properties. फिर हम लोग क्या करेंगे, इसका वेरिएबल भी बना देंगे कनेक्शन स्ट्रिंग, तो नेक्स्ट टाइम वी कैन यूज इट, राइट? इन एडिशन टू दैट वी हैव टू गिव दिस प्रोवाइडर नेम. तो ये प्रोवाइडर नेम है सिस्टम डॉट डेटा डॉट ओएलईडीबी. ओके, ये देना, दिस इज स्टैंडर्ड. ओके, नाउ वी हैव गिवन इट. अभी क्या हो गया कि वी आर एबल टू कनेक्ट. हम लोगों ने क्या किया है कि एक्सेल को कनेक्ट कर लिया है एज ए डेटाबेस. ठीक है, एक्सेल को कनेक्ट किया हम लोगों ने एज ए डेटाबेस. तो हम लोगों ने क्या किया था कि वी हैव कनेक्टेड database, right? So we have used the same action connect. So now we are able to connect. So now जैसे कि हम लोग database से connect किया था and we have written a query, right, by using the run query activity. तो यहाँ पे भी हम लोग क्या कर सकते हैं ना कि we can directly write a query and we will get an output, right? So how can we do it? फॉर मी इट्स एग्जीक्यूट क्वेरी, आपके लिए होगा रन क्वेरी. सो हियर आई वांट टू राइट अ क्वेरी. तो क्या क्वेरी लिखा है मैंने, सिलेक्ट स्टार फ्रॉम. ओके, एंड दिस इज द फॉर्मेट वी हैव टू गिव इट. तो मान लो कि यू आर हैविंग दिस, राइट, दिस इज द सैंपल टेक. ओके, एंड फ्रॉम हियर, राइट, यू वांट टू रीड ऑल द डेटा. और अपने पास शीट 1 है, हो सकता है शीट 2 कोई भी हो सकता है, राइट. तो वी कैन गिव दैट नेम हियर, राइट, इन स्क्वायर ब्रेसेस. ओके, स्क्वायर ब्रेसेस, शीट नेम, और उसके बाद डॉलर सिंबल. दिस इज अ स्टैंडर्ड. ओके, स्क्वायर ब्रेसेस, then sheet name, okay, and dollar sign. So now what it will do, it will fetch all the record from the X. So accordingly, जैसे कि हम लोग यहाँ पे इसके बाद where भी लिख सकते हैं, right, where name is equal to ABC और country is equal to India, right. तो जो भी query हम लोग execute कर सकते हैं from the database, the same query we can execute from here also. Okay, so this is really important feature, right, while implementing your automation. Now suppose here I'm checking how many records we are having into that particular Excel file, right? So I will just run this. So it will show you whatever the 4 5 records we are having. See, we are having 4 records. And it will give the output into the data table, right? जैसे कि हम लोगों को database से दे रहा है by using the run query, right? It will give the output into the data. So we can use as it is. Okay, so this is the best practice when we are working on the Excel, right? And normally it having good amount of data only, so we can use it as a Excel as a data. Okay,
Well, does it has any dependency in terms of package or like any application or the database that has to be available on the system?
no, no. Normally there is one plugin it coming, okay, but it will come along with .NET framework. Okay, so there is no dependency, because like whatever the business systems or VMs we are using, that are always up to date. Okay, but if you are using our this home edition or something, right, here we have to install that plugin. But otherwise, from the organization point of view, we no need to do any extra thing to implement.
So only .NET has to be there
So
installed on
that's
the
how
machine.
it will come our OS, right?
Yeah.
So that's perfectly fine. Please try with any Excel. I have given that connection string into the group chat. And provider. Now we'll see how to filter the records basically from the your data table. Okay, so data table can be anything. ठीक है, तो normally filter database के लिए तो लगाने की कोई जरूरत होता नहीं है, because we can mold the query accordingly. But फिर भी if you have any runtime scenario or like that, right, I want to filter it. Okay, so suppose I'm having this file, right, sales data. Okay, so here we are having sales data and I want to apply a filter कि जैसे हम लोग normal Excel में filter apply करते हैं, right? You will go, will select city or particular thing and accordingly it will give only those records, right? So what I want to do कि मुझे क्या करना है कि I want to go to this file, okay, and I want to apply the filter. Filter के basis पे आपको records रखने हैं, remove करने हैं, right? So those things we can do very well. So basically data table को filter कैसे लगाते हैं, that we will see. Okay, so first thing we'll read the data, right? ये file से data read कर देंगे, then we'll store the data into this particular variable, right? फिर हम लोग use करेंगे filter data, filter data. Okay, take this filter data. ठीक है, कॉन्फ़िगर पे क्लिक कीजिए. जब आप कॉन्फ़िगर पे क्लिक करोगे तो पूछेगा कि इनपुट, राइट? तो इनपुट क्या है, हमारा इनपुट डेटा. और फिल्टर होने के बाद So I have already created a variable like filter data. Okay. और यहाँ पे हमें डिफाइन करना है कि क्या फिल्टर लगा, राइट. फर्स्ट थिंग इज कीप. कीप के बारे में डिस्कस करते हैं. तो सपोज कॉलम नेम क्या है, कॉलम नेम स्टेट. ओके, दिस इज माय कॉलम नेम. कॉलम नेम इज इक्वल टू, मतलब स्टेट नहीं, सॉरी, ये क्या सिटी है, राइट. सिटी इज इक्वल टू कैम्ब्रिज, राइट, फॉर एग्जाम्पल. तो यहाँ पे आप दे सकते. ओके, सिटी इज इक्वल टू कैम्ब्रिज. एंड वी कैन गिव मोर देन वन कंडीशन ऑल्सो, जैसे कि हम लोग नॉर्मली भी दे सकते हैं कि क्लिक ऑन द एड, राइट. अगर आपको और कोई सिटी डिफाइन करना है, राइट, या और दूसरा कोई कॉलम डिफाइन करना है, कर सकते हैं. दिस इज एंड, राइट. एंड मतलब क्या कि दोनों कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई होगा तो आपको आउटपुट मिलेगा, राइट. बट अगर आप इसको और करोगे, और मतलब इफ एनी ऑफ द कंडीशन सेटिस्फाइड, राइट, इट विल गिव द रिजल्ट, राइट. तो हम लोग कंडीशन दे सकते हैं. और यहाँ पे इफ यू आर गिविंग दिस नंबर, तो नंबर को आपको एज इट इज देना है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल लाइक दिस, नंबर को आप डबल कोट में नहीं दो. ओके, ओनली कोई स्ट्रिंग है तो विल गिव डबल कोट, नंबर को डबल कोट में नहीं दे. ठीक है. एंड इफ यू वांट टू डिलीट एनी कंडीशन, डिलीट कर. तो कीप मतलब क्या, ये आपका डेटा फिल्टर करके रखेगा. ओके, इट विल कीप दैट डेटा. अगर आप रिमूव करोगे, मतलब अगर मान लो कि वी आर इन द एक्सेल, अगर आप कीप करोगे तो यू विल सी दिस, राइट. अगर आप रिमूव करोगे तो व्हाट इट विल डू, राइट, विल हैव दिस डेटा, राइट. ये डेटा रहेगा, राइट. तो इट विल शो लाइक. तो ये डेटा आपको मिले. ठीक है. तो दिस इज द मीनिंग ऑफ रिमूव. तो वो रिमूव कर देगा, आपने जो भी फिल्टर बताया वो रिमूव कर देगा, राइट. बट विल मेंशन इट एज अ कीप, राइट. देन आउटपुट कॉलम्स. आउटपुट कॉलम्स में इट इज नॉट मैंडेटरी, राइट. अगर आप यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं दोगे तो व्हाट विल हैपन, इट विल गिव यू ऑल द कॉलम्स इनटू द आउटपुट, सारे कॉलम्स दे देगा. बट इफ यू हैव एनी कंडीशन, you need particular columns like city, right, या you need maybe atom type, right. तो ये क्या करेगा, आउटपुट में बस आपको ये दो ही कॉलम देगा. अगर आप कीप करोगे, रिमूव करोगे तो इट विल जस्ट रिमूव दिस टू कॉलम्स और आपको क्या देगा, रिमेनिंग कॉलम्स दे, राइट. तो लेट्स रन. विल टेक ऑल द रिकॉर्ड्स. ठीक है, राइट. एंड देन सेव इट फॉर एग्जाम्पल. फिर आपको राइट रेंज करके वी विल राइट इनटू द सेपरेट शीट फॉर एग्जाम्पल, राइट. यहाँ पे आप एड एड्रेस भी करोगे सो दैट हेडर्स विल बी देयर, राइट. So let's close this and run. Okay, क्या नहीं किया. Okay, so I have given the wrong variable. Yeah, you have to do filter. Okay, okay, it has completed. We'll check. Okay, now it is giving the output with our filter thing. ठीक है. So what we can do, if you want to apply any filter on input data table, we can apply by using the filter. ठीक है. अब यहाँ पे there is one more thing कि suppose you are input having any duplicate records, right. यहाँ पे आपके duplicate records है, right. So you can see here we are having duplicate records, right. ये Cambridge वाला, right. This one and this one. Okay. It duplicate means all the rows having similar data, and if you want to remove the duplicate data, right? And you want to process, for example, unique data. तो आप क्या कर सकते हो कि we can use this remove duplicate rows as well, right? Use this remove duplicate rows. तो यहाँ पे कुछ नहीं करना है, we have to just provide the input data table, तो input data है मेरा input data, right? और filtered data, मतलब जो भी output है आप यहाँ पे देते, तो automatically what it will do, it will remove the duplicate rows and it will give you the unique rows. Okay, so this is the purpose of remove duplicate. ठीक है, so if you have time you can try, or if you have